All right, hey, it's Miles, and we're back with part two of choosing your niche for your online business. In part one, if you haven't found that yet, I would recommend starting there. It's a video where I cover kind of I would have to say kind of the 30,000 foot view, the kind of mindset or the idea of what to do. And in this video, we're going to actually go kind of over my shoulder onto my computer screen, and we're going to look at the tools I recommended and an additional tool that can help you. And this is whether you're looking to kind of verify a niche that you think will work for you, it kind of resonates with you based on what we learned in part one, or if you're still struggling, you're like, man, I just don't get it yet. I don't exactly know what I need my niche to be. Browsing through these different tools will give you exposure to lots of niches that you didn't think of, and you might see something in here that's like, oh my goodness, I'm really good at that, or I've always loved doing that. Like, wow, that's a niche, and it might inspire you to find what your niche is. So let's dig right in. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here so you can see my screen. And the first one we're going to start with is the Amazon Kindle bestseller. So I literally type into Google Amazon Kindle bestsellers, and then it comes up as the first result. And then you'll notice on the left here, we've got Kindle eBooks is the one you want to click on. And what happens at this point is you'll notice that on the left side, we've got all of these main categories. These are our top level categories. This is our starting point. This is not our finish point. And you notice there's a ton of them. They just keep going and going and going. So for example, if you're interested in self-help, if you like personal development, you think that might work for you, you click on self-help. Big Magic shows up, which is a fantastic book. If you have not read that, I highly recommend reading that. But you'll notice under self-help, you have creativity, eating disorders, happiness, inner child, journal writing. Like these are pretty specific things, right? Like journal writing has its own subcategory. So I click on it again to see, is there anything below? And there's not. So this is the lowest category under the self-help according to Kindle. So that's what we're looking for, is to get down to the point where there's nothing below it. I'm going to check self-esteem to see if there's any further subcategories under there. No, there's not. So it looks like under self-help, these are the main, according to Amazon, these are the main subcategories. So these are the kinds of niches that one would be interested in possibly building a business on. Memory improvement is absolutely fantastic. It's required at many different levels. So I'm going back to the nonfiction, to the top level here, or actually, I'm going to go back to the Kindle eBooks here. So let's go into something that's a little bit bigger, one of the big three that we talked about, and let's look at the health, fitness, and dieting niche. So I click on health, fitness, and dieting, and that Big Magic book's following me. But you'll notice here that there's more sub niches here, right? So there's everything from addiction and recovery to diets and weight loss and exercise and fitness. So let's go with diets and weight loss and take a look under here. And what you're going to notice is there's actually multiple additional subcategories under the diets and weight loss. So you can go under special conditions. And what we're looking for here, again, it goes even farther. So now it's down to diabetes. So literally, if you were someone who had diabetes or you knew someone who was diabetic, look at all of these different types of sub niches that people are buying books on. So I'm in the diabetic and sugar free, and what we're seeing here immediately are the top 100 paid books, right? And specifically, I think they load the top 20 on this first page. So I'm noticing right off the top, ketogenic ice cream, ketogenic diet, ketogenic desserts, right? So what does this tell me, right? If you don't know about ketosis and ketogenic diets, it's really trendy right now. There's new network marketing businesses coming out with special ketogenic drinks that you can make. But what this shows you is this is like a pulse on the market, right? Ketogenic diets, that's big business right now. You're also going to notice that reverse diabetes is in number 2, and then diabetes meals by the plate is number 3. Paleo solution. Then we go into detox diets. Back to ketogenic again, super keto again, like that's all over the place. So if I was interested in this, I would, if I had diabetes, or my father actually has diabetes, if I wanted to go into this niche, I would, right now, I would stop and I'd be like, okay, everything's all about ketogenic right now. This is huge, right? The Amazon marketplace is reflecting the best sellers for people who have diabetes, who look for books about diabetes. Ketogenic everything is all over the place. To me, that's it. I would totally go after this niche if that was something I'm interested in or working on fixing in my life, or if someone really close to me was dealing with this. This is where I would go. It's not for me, but I'm just trying to show you how this works. So I'm going to go back to Kindle ebooks again, and we're going to dig down. I want to go into another area. So let's actually go, just kind of looking around, see what jumps out at me. So business and money. We talked about the money and the finance stuff in the first video. Now, when you get under business and money, what I notice right away is there's a lot, and I mean a lot of subcategories here, right? Everything from accounting, business life, economics, investing, management and leadership, real estate, so all the way down to women in business, right? So let's see if there's anything under women in business. And it looks like women in business is the lower level there. So if you're if you've been an executive for 10 years, if you've been in the workforce as a woman for 10, 20, 30 years, and you want to teach other women how to kind of climb the corporate ladder and how to make the most of being a woman in the workplace in kind of a male-centric and male-dominated workplace, Amazon is showing us that this is a viable niche because they've categorized a specific number of books in this specific niche. And then you look, I mean, the first one, Girl Code, Unlocking the Secrets, right? To Happy Entrepreneur, Career GPS, Strategies for Women Navigating Corporate, right? This is exactly what I was talking about. Lean In. These kinds of books prove that there's a market here. And then I want to just look under investing and see if there's other types under here. So under investing, now this is, I mentioned investing in part one, which is why I wanted to come back to it. But investing in and of itself is not yet a deep enough niche, right? Maybe you are specializing in bonds. Maybe you specialize in commodities or commodity futures, and you're really good at timing commodity futures based on a certain weather pattern you figured out, or astrology, or whatever it is that is your take on these kinds of markets. The investing basics, there's more people going from step 0 to step 1 than there are people going from step 5 to step 6. So the basics are always, the intro class is always going to have a larger potential target market than the advanced class. Mutual funds, options, stocks. So all of this just proves what we've been talking about, that you really need to drill down and get to the bottom. I'm curious, if we go into like options, does it just stop at options? Oh, I clicked something there. Yep, it does. Commodities. Let's see if it kind of breaks it down on the commodity types. Nope. So it does look like these are these subcategories. So what you want to do is you want to find the ones that really speak to you based on your personal kind of desires, your goals, your hopes, your dreams, and also your experiences and what you have a lot of experience with, and you have kind of a level of unconscious competence that most people don't have, and you're able to share that with people who are searching in different types of ways. We'll talk about that. And you literally can build a business around any one of these. Once you find the one that you really like, I highly recommend starting a notebook and taking note of all of the top 10 to top 20 books that are the best sellers on Amazon, because knowing what they're doing, knowing what's working in your market is going to come in really handy. And honestly, we're going to come back to this tool in future videos, but right now we just want to decide a niche. I spent way too much time on this one, so let's move on to the next. And the next is magazines.com. I was playing around with this a minute ago, so let's go straight to the homepage. So this is the magazines.com homepage. Now you notice you can go directly down the center of the first page, and you can see that there's a number of different best-selling magazines that they're promoting right away. I recommend clicking on their all categories, and I'm going to scroll my screen down a little bit here so we can see it all. Now you can see this is all of their top level magazines, right? So let's go back under health and fitness, since we've talked about it already once. And what you're going to see here is the best matches, right? You can switch this to best sellers and to top rated. So if we wanted to see what the best selling magazines are, you can see that Self right here is number 1. Cooking Light is number 3. Calm and Strong yoga journal, right? So I feel like we're really kind of getting into sub niches. If yoga is something you're passionate about, if you have been doing yoga for years as a practice and it's helped you become more mindful and enjoy life more, that's something you can share with people. Outside, maybe you love nature, maybe you love trail running, maybe you love mountain biking. There's going to be bicycling, speaking of backpacker, even more niche specific. If you love doing overnights and multi-overnights and trekking kind of adventures, this is a very, very strong potential niche for you. So, okay, real quick before we jump out, life extension. I find this to be really interesting. Some really smart people that I follow, Eben Pagan, and Peter Diamandis, who wrote Bold and Abundance, they're really starting to talk about the potential and the possibility and the technology to live to 120 years old, 140 years old, and they really believe that this generation, someone within that's alive on the planet now or being born very soon, is going to be able to live to, hundreds of years old due to technology and what we have available to us. So this is kind of a really interesting, kind of deep, kind of weird to some people, but if this is something that intrigues you and that you love researching and writing about, it's very much a viable niche that you can go into. Let's just kind of look at one or two more in here real quick. And the theory behind this is that if you've got a publishing company that's able to put out a magazine. Magazines are really designed to sell advertising. Like you get that, we get that. You open the magazine and it's instantly 5-6 pages of advertising before you even get to the table of contents. And all the articles are there for is to get us to open and look through to look at advertising. So if these companies are able to sell advertising, that means there's a really good chance that you could sell advertising or products on a niche site that's similar to this. So let's go business and finance and see what shows up here. Now it starts by the best matches, and I like to look at the best sellers or the top rated. So the licensing book, this is really interesting. So the best selling is the licensing book. And if you know anything about licensing, it's about creating some sort of intellectual property that you license to other companies to sell. Maybe it's a way of building a widget, or maybe it's a type of like a recipe for a soda or a recipe for a health drink. People license these things. So it's a type of business, which is kind of really interesting to me that's the best selling one here. You'll notice a lot of these are major magazines that are, entrepreneur, fast company. Like a lot of these have to do with building your own business and growing. But then you get down to The Economist, which is, kind of a deeper understanding of economics. And the Kiplinger letter is very much designed for active investors to learn about what kind of trades and where the market's going so they can kind of balance their portfolio and design their portfolio in a way that's going to work. The Progressive Farmer, how interesting is this one? Like the farming has been getting less and less popular as a vocation in the US since the 1940s or 50s, but there's kind of a return to the local farm. There's a return to the CSA, community sponsored agriculture. Permaculture is getting really big nowadays, and these are the kinds of ideas that can get sparked by looking at the magazines. Now you notice here on the left, so I've got business and finance as my top navigation level, but here we've got all kinds of different subcategories. So the sales and marketing, let's say you were a great salesperson for 20 years and you know how persuasion works, or how introverts can become great salespeople, and that could be what you teach. And remember, it doesn't have to be around money, love, and health and fitness. It can be around things that people are kind of, irrationally passionate about, which I would say let's see if we can find golf magazine. Let's see how many golf magazines there are. So right here, there's 7 different golfing magazines, right? Golfer's Digest, Golf International, Golf Digest, Golf Magazine, Links Magazine. Like, it's crazy to me that there's enough of a market to hold 7 different magazines for golf. So it's not a major need in someone's life, but it's something people get passionate about. And another thing about golfers is generally they have a little bit of extra money to spend. It's a more affluent target market. So when they've got a little bit more money, it's great for you trying to sell products in the future if you're going after a target market that has money. I mean, if they're eventually going to need to buy something for you to get a commission or to make a sale, they need to have the extra money. Let's look at pets and see what we can find for pets. So for pets, you'll notice instantly over here on the left, we've got birds, dogs, cats, farming, fish and reptiles, horses, and wildlife. So you can just right away see that there's 2 bird magazines, 3 fish and reptile magazines, 16 horses magazines. That's huge. And if you think about that, people like horses are very expensive. They require a lot of space. They require feeding at least 1, maybe 2 times a day. I'm not a horse guy, so I don't actually know, but I know horse people. And really, for most people, horses aren't required to live life the way they want to live, but these people are irrationally passionate about their horses. So maybe you've loved horse riding. I have a friend who specifically I've been coaching her for a while. She's in New Zealand, and she's started a fitness product for dressage riders. It's amazing, and she's doing well with that. So it's really about digging deep and thinking deeper than, okay, I want to focus on pets. Well, what kind of pets do you want to focus on becomes the question. And what is your expertise and what is your passion, and let that overflow, and you'll create an audience and a tribe of people who have similar interests. So the last one here, this is a new one. This is Clickbank, clickbank.com. And the place you want to go is to the affiliate marketplace. Now, Clickbank is an affiliate network that allows you to essentially, you could become a vendor or you can become an affiliate. Vendors post their products for sale, and affiliates can go promote those products and receive a commission on every sale that's made. Now, the reason I use this at this level, we'll be talking about Clickbank in the future, but they've got on the left-hand side here, you'll notice the categories: arts and entertainment, betting systems, business and investing, computers. So these are all of their main categories that they offer. And under each of the categories, like health and fitness, you'll notice that they instantly search by popularity, and the first one that comes up sorted by popularity is diabetes destroyer. How interesting. So now we've come full circle to our first kind of Amazon review that I found about the ketosis idea. Now, this isn't about ketosis, but what this is it's about healing diabetes in some way, shape, or form. And you would be able to, if you had traffic in this niche, if you had a website that got traffic or a mailing list, which is exactly what we're going to build over the course of this video series, you would be able to make $38 every time you sent this company a sale. So we're not there yet. What we're doing is we're looking to have these kinds of aha moments of, aha, I was looking in the best sellers in Amazon, and then I go over here to the Clickbank marketplace, and one of the first best sellers overlaps with that. This is indeed a hot niche right now. Number 2, the big diabetes lie. Like, that's amazing, right? Number 3, fat diminisher. Here's yoga burn. Okay, so this is really, really interesting to me because I was just mentioning the yoga magazine that we found. So here there's another overlap. So what you've probably noticed at this point is there's going to be some overlap, and what is required of you is to find that balance point of what are you interested in, what do you have expertise in, and what are you willing to kind of work on and play with and talk about and read and learn and study and share for the next 6 months, 2 years, etc. Because it's going to take a while to really build. And when I mean really build and get momentum was what I said in the last video. I'm talking about building like 10 grand a month type income, right? And after taxes and housing costs and everything, you're left with a few grand a month left over. 10 grand a month isn't what it used to be. It's a great target to shoot at, but it's just a step on a longer path. And if it takes 2 years or 3 years to get there, are you going to be sorry that you put in the time to get there? I don't think so, because the coolest part about it all is you can generate that kind of revenue from anywhere in the world. You can go to Thailand, you can go to Costa Rica, you could go live in Hawaii if you want, whatever your dream is. Or you could stay right at home and spend more time with your kids and spend more time with your family or more time doing what you love. If that's golfing, great. Now you can go golf more often. You can create content while you're golfing. You can use that content to promote your business. Golfing may be able to become a tax-deductible adventure for you, which could be a magical scenario. I'm not a CPA. Obviously, you got to talk to your tax attorney, and we'll get into those kinds of topics later. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I'm trying to build the dream a little bit, right? I'm trying to paint the big picture a little bit, because all of this research really does grow into something that has potential to be life-changing, for lack of a better word. So let me bring this back here. All right, so we're back. We've covered the 3 tools. Again, we started in the first video with the Amazon Kindle bestsellers, and I've showed you how to use that. And then we went into the magazines. Now, the magazines are probably best for you to try to like figure out what's my niche. What would I like to read? Like, what magazine would you like to have show up every single month to your house? And what magazine would you read cover to cover every month? If it's a magazine on a niche that you would read every month, that's the kind of niche that you need to be in, because that means you're excited about it. You like reading about it and you'd like to share about it. And then Clickbank, this is the first look we've had into Clickbank. It's a huge marketplace. I really recommend, I'm kind of going back to Clickbank right now. I really do recommend that you spend some time looking at the Clickbank categories on the left, because most everything that shows up as the best sellers in Clickbank here, or the most popular in Clickbank, most of these are indeed doing really, really well, meaning they're healthy niches, people are making money in these niches, and there's competition, which is a good thing. And there's plenty of room at the top. I can tell you that with all of my heart. There's plenty of room for you to niche out a 5-figure monthly income in any one of these niches. It's going to take perseverance, and that's the real trick, is something that you're going to love and enjoy. I just clicked on business investing, and like a woodworking, DIY, survivalist. Oh my goodness. Like the survivalist and the prepper niche right now is absolutely massive. And there's some really powerful products you can promote to make a lot of money. So take your time with this process, but make a decision. I would give yourself a deadline. Right? I would say within 24 hours, if you've got a few hours to spend on this kind of research, I would say within 24 hours, make a decision one way or another and move on to the next videos to start building your audience and to start actually building out your business on that niche. You can always change if you need, and ultimately it's about getting started, taking action, and adjusting as you go forward. It's this process of trial and error, and learn, do, teach, and adjust as you go, adjust as you go. Gary Vee was using this phrase in the Gary Vee book, that it's like repairing your airplane while you're flying, right? So choosing your niche is choosing your airplane. Then in the next videos, we'll get your airplane off the ground and we'll get an actual sales funnel together. And then from there, it's a constant process of testing and tweaking and fixing little things and making it better and better, piece by piece, step by step. And eventually you make your first sale. Then you make your first $100 day, first $1,000 day, and you're on your way at that point to a very, very fun and comfortable lifestyle. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and cut it at this point. I hope you understand what it takes to choose your niche. Again, set yourself a time-based deadline. Give yourself 24 hours. Pick your first niche and subscribe so you can get the next videos, so you know what's coming and how to build this out as a real business. And leave me a comment below if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer your questions. And I do thank you very much for your time. So have a great day. Pick yourself a niche and let's go build a business together. All right.